Hi, this is Matt Renfro. Welcome to my Google Sites tutorial. This presentation is intended for all current and future educators seeking to utilize digital tools in their classroom. So Google accounts for education are very common in my district. Every teacher in the district has been provided a Google app for education account, or what they call a GAF account. The only difference between a GAF account and a regular Google free account is that the GAF account provides more storage space on Google Drive. So whether you have a GAF account or not, it does not matter. Anybody can use Google Sites. So I want to show you the awesome things that Google Sites can do. It's a wonderful way to communicate with your students and their parents or guardians. I don't recommend utilizing Google Sites for assignments in your classroom. That's really what Google Classroom is for. But my goal is to show you how using Google Sites can not only provide effective means of communication between you, your students, and their parent or guardians, but how it can also be helpful for educators with 5 or less years of experience. And I want to show you what I mean by that here in just a moment. So first we want to show you just the basics of how to get started in setting up your own Google site, which is your own website for your classroom. So we want to go to a new tab with Google. Be sure we're signed into our Google account. Click on our waffle grid up there, and we're going to click on Sites because we want to create a class website. I already have one that I'll show you here in a moment. But if you're creating your own, you're going to click Create. And I'm going to recommend that you do it in classic sites. And here's why. Because in classic sites, they allow you to browse the gallery for templates. I am not a web page designer. Most teachers aren't. And when I was tasked with creating my own website, it was daunting. And the first place I went to look was Google, because Google is intuitive and pretty user-friendly. And I will tell you that for the most part, this was a pretty, it wasn't a hard process. It took a little time to play around and to figure it out, but it's nothing that you can't do, I promise. So I like to start with browsing the gallery, because since I'm not a web page designer, I wanted to at least use a template as a starting page, and then I could edit it and get rid of stuff that I didn't want as it went along. But here's an education website. You can do this one. Let's do this one. Actually, yeah, why not? So here's this template we can do. We click on Gadget from Template Directory. Here it is. Yeah, we'll use this one. Use template. All right. It's going to ask us to name our site. I'm just going to put this as a testing website. And it creates a URL for you down here. All right, we're going to click Create. It's already used because we already have a testing. So we'll use something about testing Fort Hays State University. So this should create a website for us. It has to be, you have to create a name here that isn't used by somebody already, because it's going to be put into your URL. So it's going to create a site here for us. And so here we are with our template. Now, obviously, you probably teach in America and you probably teach English. So we don't want to use the language that we're seeing here. So we can edit the page here. We just click on Edit Page. It loads the editor. And here we can start deleting text. We can use the text box that they already have here. We can get rid of this if we want. We can delete that. And we can start writing our own stuff. Now, maybe you want to leave these text boxes and fill in stuff. Maybe you don't. It's really up to you. We'll save that. You can create a page if what they're offering you isn't enough. I don't recommend doing that, because that gets into more of the web page designer aspect. So I would kind of just go with what they've given you and get rid of what you don't like. I can click on Edit Page here. Actually, let me go to the options here. So more actions. So here's where it really gets detailed. Page templates here. Managing the site. Here's one that you're going to use. Attachments. This is where you can upload pictures that you wanted to use for your site. You would have to go to attachments and upload them that way. Themes, colors, and fonts. This is where you could change the font, you can change background colors, you can change the header. This is like editing the page, but a little more advanced. So you have to go to this page to do the more advanced editing. Themes, colors, and fonts, and attachments are really the two things that I use from this to replace what was already given to me in this template. We'll go to the assignment calendar. Let's go to lessons and notes. I mean, a lot of you can through that page options page, you can get rid of these tabs if you wanted to and only use 3. You could add tabs. We click on edit page again. Insert. If I want to insert an image, all right, I can click on the image I want, or I can upload an image. Click OK. There's the image. I can make the text wrap around. I can align it left. I can align it right. A lot of different things you can do with that. But again, it's going to take some time to play around with. It's not something that you just learn in a few minutes. I will tell you that. But if you just know that this edits the page, and generally speaking, with adding some images, changing text, and then the advanced options page here, where you go to manage site. Those are the only two pages I really used to create my website, just by figuring out how to delete things and add things using the manage site options and the edit page options. So by doing that, I started with a pre-made template similar to this one. It may have even been this actual template. And I will show you what I was able to create and what I use it for and how it could be effective for educators 5 years or less in the field. So here's my website. I created my own banner. I did have to create this banner in PowerPoint, actually. PowerPoint allows you to create banners. I had to save that and then upload this as a banner. But mine's very basic because I'm not a web page designer. I have 3 tabs. I took the original template and narrowed it down to 3 tabs. I have a link here where they can see what we did in class this week. I have a link to my email. I have a link to my syllabus. All of those in that edit page options that I was showing you. You can insert hyperlinks to link all of this stuff to. I put assignments or any type of homework that needs to be posted in my classroom right here on the home page for them. I have an extra credit tab here where students can see what the extra credit opportunity is for the year. But here's what can really be helpful for new educators, because it certainly was for me. I made a class notes page, and originally I intended this to be a communication device for my students and their parents. They wanted to see what was going on in my class every day. I kept a daily log of what happened every day in class. So if somebody was absent for 1, 2, or 5 days, they can go back at least a week or two and see what was going on, and the parents can too. And parents really appreciate this, those that are very interested in what's going on in their students' classroom. Now, here's where it can be really helpful for new educators. When I first did this, I went to erase all of this stuff because I needed to update, and I didn't want to go back that many weeks anymore. And right before I hit delete, I noticed that I had a day-by-day journal of what I did in class. And as a first-year educator, I thought, wow, that could really be helpful when I am planning my year next year. So I copy every week that I've done and put it in a Google Doc and file them by each quarter. And now I have a daily log of what I did through the entire year that I can use when I'm planning for the next year. Fantastic way to help you out and help you remember what did I do in class and help you figure out what do I want to change. So ISTE Standard 2 is covered here. I'm modeling for your colleagues. Digital resources and tools for learning, and ISTE Standard 1A, setting professional learning goals to explore and apply pedagogical approaches made possible by technology and reflect on their effectiveness. So thank you for joining me.